Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your man Pristine back with another video. Welcome to the full Pristine review for the iPhone 11. Let's get into this thing. Now, first off, real quick, price and specs. So the iPhone 11 here is $699 for the 64 gig variant. And as you know, there has never been an SD card slot for memory expansion. So you have different gigabyte packages in which you can purchase if you want more gigabytes. And then what Apple does is they lock you into paying for more of the cloud storage. So be it you happen to run out on your device, which I think is just completely crazy, but that's what they do, and people pay that money and they're making a killing off of this stuff. But this is the 64 gig variant. This is $699 starting. Okay, now if you want to get the 128 gig, that's going to run you $749.99. And if you want the 256 gig, that's going to run you $849.99. All right. So $699 for the 64 gig, $750 for the 128 gig, $850 for the 256 gig. Yeah. So those are your price. Yeah, your price points right there for the different gigabyte variants. Now the specifications, we've got the Apple A13 Bionic chipset, which Apple is claiming to be the fastest chipset in the world. And you know, I have to somewhat agree with them, because as far as benchmark scores, even some of the top tier Android devices going up against Apple processors, even though Apple phones tend to have much less gigabytes of RAM than a lot of other Android devices, they still seem to score a little bit better than some of your top tier Android devices. And the phone just performs just so smooth and fluid. I mean, there's a fluidity factor that come along with iPhones. And so we've got the A13 Bionic chipset, again, 64 gigs of onboard storage, 4 gigs of RAM, you know, and I know that that's not really a specification that Apple really talks too much about. So you kind of have to dig a little bit, you know, for that information. But we do have 4 gigs of RAM for those of you that weren't really all that clear on the amount of gigs of RAM that there were in this phone, which I know the iPhone 11 is replacing the iPhone XR. And so the iPhone XR had 3 gigs of RAM as opposed to the XS and the XS Max that was released with it. Those had 4 gigs of RAM. And so it's good to see that, you know, we got, and we still have 4 gigs of RAM on all the iPhone 11 models, whether it be the iPhone 11, the 11 Pro, or the 11 Pro Max. All right, so 4 gigs of RAM across the board. Okay, now that's what we've got for the price and the specifications. Now, build quality, we've got what Apple is calling 7000 series glass. And I'm not exactly sure how this stacks up against Corning Gorilla Glass, but Apple is claiming that this is a very, very, very durable grade of glass, and it's going to provide your phone with a lot of the protection that it's going to need. You know, I don't want to say that I do not believe them, but the key word, ladies and gentlemen, glass. You know what I mean? So whether it's Corning Gorilla Glass or Asahi Dragon Trail glass or 7000 series glass, the key word being glass, which means if it drops from a great enough distance, it's going to shatter, and your brand new shiny new iPhone is going to look like trash. Okay, now it may be able to endure some little minor scuffs and scrapes. Maybe if you drop it from a short enough distance, the screen may not shatter, you know, but it's glass along the front and the back. So as I tell everybody, protect your investment, get a case, get a screen protector. You know, these cases do just fine. I got this little case on Amazon. You know what, you know, never mind, you know, these carriers, when you get your devices, you know, they make a killing off of accessories. You guys ever notice when you go into a carrier store and you buy a new phone, and before you can get out the door, they're just hounding you about accessories? Never mind the amount of money that you may have just spent for your shiny new device, whichever device you decided to go with. Oh, you need a case, and oh, you need a screen protector, and you want to keep your device just, you know, looking so pristine, and da-da-da-da-da-da. But they don't mention these prices. And then when you're like, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, I need a case, I need a screen protector, and then you ring it up, and it's almost $100, you know what I'm saying, or a little over, or maybe just a little bit under, because the cases cost like $45, $50, and the screen protector, you know what I mean, which typically is not the hard plastic ones, but the carrier stores, they carry that that tempered glass, you know what I mean, which is anywhere from, you know, 30 to $60 depending on the brand. They make a killing. Look, just go to Amazon and under the search bar type in cases and screen protectors for the iPhone 11, and you will have a vast array of options to choose from. I'm talking about, you know, anywhere from $6 to $20. Within that price range, you've got hella options to choose from. And I'm talking about good quality screen protectors and cases that are going to protect your investment. All right, so slap a case and a screen protector on it to help protect your shiny new iPhone, and you know, it'll pay dividends, trust me. Okay, so build quality, it's like I said, it's glass, but it does feel good in the hands. It's got a little bit of heft to it. It's not too heavy. You know, it's definitely the type of device that you can wield in a hand. Now, I'm not exactly sure about it being a one-handed operation as far as navigating the phone and doing what you need to do. So, you know, again, the iPhone 11, it's in between the Pro and the Pro Max. You know, the Pro is 5.8 inches, which a lot of people feel as though that's the sweet spot, you know, because it has a very small form factor. And 5.8 inches is not a small screen. I mean, but it sounds small by today's standards because a lot of phones are coming out with 6.8 inch displays and so forth. But, you know, it's a small footprint with a sizable screen on it, but it's still going to be smaller than this because the iPhone 11 here is 6.1 inches. Okay, it's 6.1 inches. So, yeah, you know, some people may still find this to be a little bit too big, but they don't want to pay the price for that Pro, which is $1,000. You know what I mean? So you kind of got to question, okay, what's important to you? And then, of course, the Pro Max being a big 6.5 inch monster, you know. So, you know, you got some thinking to do, you know what I mean? If you're thinking about, like, you know, portability and comfort and just overall ease of use as far as handling the device, something to think about. But overall, I feel like the build quality is good here on the iPhone 11. Build quality is going to be a little bit more sturdy if you decide to go with the Pro or the Pro Max, because rather than the 7000 series glass that is here on the iPhone 11, those are, let me get my cheat sheet here. What is that? Those are made up of, textured matte glass and stainless steel. Okay, so we just have 7000 series glass here, but if you get the Pro and the Pro Max, you've got textured matte glass and stainless steel. Now, I'm not sure how textured matte glass, I'm not sure if that's a more durable grade of glass than the 7000 series glass here on the 11. That I don't know. All right, now, performance. As I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, performance is absolutely stellar. Again, 813 Bionic chipset, 4 gigs of RAM, and things just perform beautifully. I'm connected to my Wi-Fi connection here, so, you know, 4G LTE data speeds may differ, but nonetheless, this phone performs buttery smooth. It's lightning fast, and that's one thing that I love about the iPhones is just the reliability and the ease of use and just how fluid they are. Like I just mentioned not too long ago, the fluidity factor. I mean, they just perform, and they're so fluid. I mean, you know, you don't need a 90 hertz display on these things. You know, it kind of, you know, I don't want to say that it moves and it's as responsive as a screen that does have that, but you still have that nice smooth fluidity factor on the iPhone, and I'm a huge fan of that. And so, you know, multitasking is not going to be a problem on the iPhone 11 at all whatsoever. And like I said, I mean, people, they try to dumb it down like, oh, well, you know, it's just a dumbed down version, which is why it costs so cheap. Well, it's like all they did was use, they changed they used different materials. It doesn't have one camera lens, but all the internal specifications are the same. It's like, how is that dumbed down? You know what I mean? Like, I don't quite get that. I mean, so you're getting the performance across the board, no matter which one of these devices that you choose. You see what I'm saying? And so just showing you guys just a quick demonstration of how quickly it pops in the applications. And of course, we swipe up and hold, take it back to SoundCloud, boom, it's right there. Take it back to Best Buy, boom, it's right there. Doesn't have to reload this stuff, okay? This stuff is just chilling right where you left it. Go back to the Bible app and it's right there. I mean, so multitasking and things of that nature on this device is an absolute breeze with no problems at all whatsoever. All right, so performance is an absolute beast. You know, you're not going to have any issues. No matter what I've thrown at this device, it's performed, and it's performed very, very, very well. Okay, and I've put this phone under some pretty intense things as far as like, opening applications and having a bunch of stuff running at the same time under Safari, the different search options to browse the internet, having a lot of those things going on at once. So between websites and applications open at the same time, the phone never slowed down or hiccuped, not once. Okay, so you're going to be able to navigate this phone with nice buttery smooth fluidity with no problems at all whatsoever. So to me, the performance is an absolute A+. Now, the cameras. On the front of this phone, we got a 12 megapixel sensor, selfie camera. Beautiful camera, beautiful performing selfie camera. On the rear, we've got 2 cameras. We've got a 12 megapixel wide angle lens, which is the primary, and we've got another 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens. Okay, here and here. And like I said, for one of the differences between the Pro and the Pro Max is right here where the LED flash would be, or is on this phone, you've got another camera lens, and it's a telephoto sensor. You know what I mean? So on this phone, you don't have the 2-time optical zoom. To me, that's not really a big deal to me. I actually don't even really use that feature on a lot of phones where I do have the 2-time optical zoom. A lot of times during my dedicated camera reviews, I demonstrate that just to show you guys that a phone does have it and how you can use it if you decide to use it. But me, I'm just more of a point and shoot kind of guy. I don't tweak things. I never really use pro mode or anything like that. Every now and then I'll take a portrait shot. You know what I mean? But again, a lot of these features that come on these phones are barely features that I really use. I just rely more so on just, the camera and the default settings that it's on. That's it. But you do have all of the bells and whistles on this camera. 4K recording at 30 or 60 frames per second with both the rear and the front cameras. I mean, so you've got a lot to play with on these cameras on the iPhone. Don't think just because this phone is lacking that telephoto lens that the camera quality has been shortchanged a bit, because it hasn't. Because the 2 main primary cameras that are on the Pro and the Pro Max, which is this 12 megapixel primary and the 12 megapixel ultra wide, these are the same 2 primary cameras that are on the Pro and the Pro Max. The only difference with this camera is that it does not have the telephoto lens. Your photo quality, video quality, all that stuff is going to be the same. And you guys already know that iPhones, and this iPhone in particular, is the video recording champion at the moment. Okay, now I understand, we got the Pixel 4 coming out and some other phones coming out before the end of the year. It's about to get real crazy. It's been crazy, but it's about to get even more crazy. You know what I mean? Holiday season's coming up, and a lot of these OEMs, they want to get their latest and the greatest out to the public. You know what I mean? Which will be more options for us, and just, the average consumers out there that are looking to upgrade their smartphones. So, but yeah, there is a dedicated camera review that I did for the camera, so I'm not going to say too much more about the camera. The link for that is down below in the description, so you don't have to go to my page looking for it on YouTube. Yeah, let me know what you think about, what you see with the camera quality. And, be sure to comment down in the comment section. And, we could chit chat about it if that's what your little heart desires. All right, now, battery life. We've got a 3046 milliamp hour battery. Don't ask me, ladies and gentlemen, how it's done, because I don't know. But a lot of you would hear 3046 milliamps, and you would laugh and think that this phone was a joke, especially by today's standards, with all these phones that have batteries that are 4,000 milliamps, 4,500 milliamps, 5,000 milliamps. I saw a phone yesterday online that got 6,000 milliamps. I mean, it's just getting crazy with the milliamp hours on these batteries. So 3046, you're just like, you kidding me? This phone's a slouch. Well, be mindful, ladies and gents, that this phone replaced the iPhone XR. The iPhone XR was the top-selling iPhone of 2018. And one of the main features that people loved the most was the battery life. Okay? Now, the battery life was bigger. It had a bigger battery than the iPhone XS, but a smaller battery than the iPhone XS Max. But it had the best battery of all three iPhones that were released last year in 2018 between the iPhone XR, the XS, and the XS Max. The iPhone XR was a battery beast. It was a battery beast. All right. Now, Apple claimed during the keynote presentation that this phone, which is replacing the iPhone XR, gets an additional hour of battery life, which is great because the phone already had exceptional battery life as it is. So it's like, okay, I'll take that all day. And it sounds like across the board, that battery life has gotten much better on all three of the iPhones, whether you get the iPhone 11 here, the iPhone 11 Pro is said to have 4 more additional hours of battery life. The Pro Max is said to have 5 more additional hours of battery life over the XS Max. I mean, so you're going to get ridiculous battery life for either one of these iPhones that you choose, especially from the iPhone 11 here. Okay? Especially from the iPhone 11 here. So don't sleep on the fact that this phone has a 3046 milliamp hour battery. This phone is going to last you all day, ladies and gentlemen, all day, all night until the next day, all day for that day until the next day. I can easily pull down 2.5, almost 3 days on one charge with this phone. Now, that has a lot to do with the fact that I'm a light to moderate user. So also be mindful of that. Your battery sustainability is solely going to be based on how you use your phone. Okay, if you're constantly on it, watching movies, social media, you know what I'm saying, doing all that kind of stuff constantly, nonstop, then of course you're gonna run through your battery quicker, and you're gonna need to throw your battery on the charger much quicker. Okay, but I mean, like I said, if you're a light to moderate user like myself, like, you know, I'll take a call or two from time to time, text message my boys here and there. You know what I'm saying? Every now and again, I get on YouTube on my phone and watch a few videos or whatever, you know what I mean? But I mean, most of the time, you know, I'm at my computer right here. You know, I got tablets and stuff in the house that I can utilize those things for. I mean, you know, it's not a problem. It's very easy for me to pull down 2 days on one charge, 2.5 days on one charge with this phone with no problem at all whatsoever. All right. Now, as far as charging this device, I guess Apple said to hell with Type-C-ing all the things for the iPhones. And so hopefully next year, you know, we'll get the Type-C port, because next year is supposed to be the year that we're supposed to get a complete design overhaul. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. So we'll see about that. Because I know that Apple, they make a lot of money with this Lightning port, because of the fact that, you know, there's so many different things that it can't do that aren't really compatible, because everything nowadays is Type-C. So there's different accessories and things that you got to go get, you know, depending on what you need them for or what you're trying to do with your device. It's just extra money that Apple is collecting. You know what I mean? Now, if you get the Pro and the Pro Max, you're gonna get the Type-C to Lightning cable in the box, along with the fast charging brick, which if you get the iPhone 11 here, the fast charging brick is not included. You just get the standard regular little lightning adapter, which I think is like 5 watts. It's trash. And I think that is so bogus. I think that is very bogus. All right. So if you get the iPhone 11 and you want that fast charging capability, you have to go to your local Apple store or Best Buy, or order it from the Apple store or apple.com or Amazon or whatever they sell it, and you have to buy it as an additional accessory. I find that to be nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. Now, luckily for me, I have this little Anchor adapter, and you know, it has a USB port and a Type-C port right there, and this thing is like 30 watts or something like that. And so I just plug my iPhone into this bad boy, plugged into the wall, and it charges up hella fast. So I don't necessarily need the the wall adapter brick. But for those of you that want that if you want that, it is a separate accessory that you have to go out and buy. Unfortunately, unless you get the Pro and the Pro Max. If you get the Pro and the Pro Max, it comes included in the box. All right. Now, some additional features, not very much. You know what I mean? Apple, they kept it real basic. They kept it very simple. I do like the fact that the phone has dark mode, which is what it's in right now. Funny thing is, this is not really a new feature. It's a new feature for iOS standards because a lot of people that have, I mean, let's just keep it real. People that have iPhones have mentally conditioned themselves into being the dead last in innovation. There's lots of things that they're doing without. And so a lot of people have been ranting and raving, oh my God, I've got dark mode. My phone, it looks so cool. And you know, I don't want to rain on their parade, but there have been some people that was making such a big fuss about it. And I was like, man, look, don't you realize that on Android phones, dark mode has been a thing for years? For years. I mean, this is not a new technology, ladies and gentlemen. So it's good to see it finally come to iOS so that Apple fanboys and girls can utilize that technology. I'm sure liking it, but it's not a new thing. Under your text messaging, you now have the ability to swipe, and you can use the swiping feature with your finger to compose text messages. Yeah, I just have to pause a moment, man, because it's kind of laughable that, again, this is another technology that has been out for years and years and years and years on Android phones. I think there was an application called SwiftKey that came out years ago that started that. It was an app that you can download from the Play Store called SwiftKey, and it would give you the ability to utilize your finger just to, you know, move it around the keyboard. And it would very accurately compose messages to keep you from doing this to text. You know what I mean? So a lot of people found it to be an easier way to text. And I understand that. And then it just got to a point to where the app got so popular to where I don't know if Android just went to SwiftKey and was like, okay, look, we're going to break you off because we keep hearing about this app and everybody's downloading it on their phones. What we want to do is we just want to make it a part of our messaging or a part of our text messaging system by default. So here, you know, we're going to cash you on out. I'm sure something like that happened. You know what I'm saying? That, ladies and gentlemen, was years ago. Years ago. So it is just beyond me that here in 2019, we get iOS 13, and now we are just finally blessed with dark mode and a SwiftKey finger moving around the keyboard type gesture to compose text messages. Which is the main reason why you cannot mention Apple and innovation in the same sentence. My man Jay Will, you hit the nail on the head when you said that, my brother. My brother from another mother. He said it. And he wasn't lying. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy. So, I mean, you know, that. Oh, okay, look. Let me get into my likes and the dislikes real quick. And then we'll go ahead and close the video out. Now, what I like about the phone, because I don't want this to turn into a rant, but I have a problem with Apple. All right. I'm going to talk about my likes first, real quick, and I'm going to get out your way. I'm going to say what I got to say, and I'm going to get out your way. All right? Now, I like the performance. I love the performance. I love the speed, the power, and just the overall functionality of this device. I like the cameras. Okay, this phone takes some beautiful selfies. It takes beautiful video. And it's interesting because I love the optical image stabilization. All optical image stabilizations are not made equal, ladies and gentlemen. They're not. I realize that there's certain, there's a lot of Android phones that have optical image stabilization, but they're not made equal. You can take one device that has optical image stabilization and then take another device that has it and make a video with both those phones side by side. And even though both the devices in the video that you're recording from both of those phones may be optically image stabilized, one still may be a little bit smoother than the other one. So all optical image stabilization does, ladies and gentlemen, is just, it compensates for the presence of a shaky, unsteady hand. And it makes the video footage look and appear as though, even though the hand may be like this, kind of jittery and shaky, it makes the video quality still nice and smooth as you're moving along. But what I've noticed with this iPhone 11, when I record a video, and I have a very steady hand. All right, so I'm not one of those real shaky, like nervous kind of people, always shaking and just can't really be still, can't really stop their hands from this motion. I can hold my hand perfectly still with no shaking. You know what I mean? So I don't really have that problem. But it's like I noticed that when I recorded video with this phone and I went back and I looked at that footage. I mean, this footage looked like it was on a gimbal and it was in my hands. I mean, it was crazy. So the optical image stabilization on this phone to me is just it's one of the best optically image stabilized video footage that I've seen on a smartphone. I mean, so Apple is really killing the game right now, when it comes to what they're doing with the camera and, the video. I mean, the reputation for video is well deserved on iPhones. Now, I like the dual stereo speakers. Those sound amazing. They sound great. You know what I mean? And I just like the overall, way that the ecosystem plays so well with other things within it. I've yet to have come across another operating system, say like Android, for instance. They have like accessories and smartwatches and stuff like that, but they don't all sync up well like Apple does. I mean, they try to implement that, so it's getting a little bit closer to that, but it's not quite there yet. And so I just like how everything just plays so well with one another when you're dealing with the Apple ecosystem. iPhone, Apple Watch, AirPods, you know what I mean? How everything is so easily transferable from one device to the next one if you've got an iPad or a MacBook, you know what I mean? That type of thing. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Now, here's what I don't like. For one, I don't like the pricing. I think that these devices are critically, and I mean critically, overpriced. Especially considering the fact that the iPhone 11, the Pro, and the Pro Max, with the exception of the cameras, ladies and gentlemen, are the exact same devices that we got last year. The dimensions are the same. The overall look and feel and form factor are the same. It's like all they did was they took last year's models, put different cameras on the back, gave us the new processor, and that was it, ladies and gentlemen. If you think about it from a hardware standpoint, there is really nothing new with these devices besides the camera. If you look at a lot of the new things that are on this device, the new things are a part of iOS 13, which is a software update. A software update. Okay? I mean, so that's why I've been telling people, look, if you got an iPhone 10, an iPhone 10R, a 10S, or a 10S Max, there is no reason for you to upgrade right now. There's no reason for you to upgrade to this or the Pro or the Pro Max unless you just absolutely want to get your hands on those cameras. But I can't even say that that's worth it because the camera on the iPhone 10R was great. The 10S was great. And the 10S Max, the cameras were great. So I can't recommend anybody that has one of those devices to upgrade to the new iPhone 11s. Now, if you got an iPhone 6, 6S, or 6 Plus, a 7 or a 7 Plus, if you got an iPhone 8, those are still cool. I think if you had one of those devices and you wanted to upgrade, okay, that would warrant the upgrade because you've got an older device. But I mean, if you have an iPhone 10, a 10R, a 10S, or a 10S Max, there's no need for you to upgrade to this because those phones too are going to get the iOS 13 update. So at that point, you're going to have dark mode. You're going to have the little Swift key option to compose text messages with your little finger. You know what I'm saying? And everything else that iOS 13 is offering. You see what I'm saying? I have a problem with iPhone calling these devices Pro. Pro camera, Pro screen, Pro performance. Ain't no Pro. Ain't nothing Pro about these phones. You know what I'm saying? It's like we got to sit down and really dissect this and really analyze this as to what makes a device Pro. Like like when you call a phone Pro, like the Pro model, what is it about that phone that warrants that Pro title? You know what I'm saying? Because let me ask you this, ladies and gentlemen. If Apple decided not to put Pro on the end of the Pro and the Pro Max, what would have been taken away from the device? Would the device still be what it is? I think so. Because it's their new iPhones. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's like, why sit there and call these phones Pro, man? There ain't nothing Pro about these phones. I don't like that. And then, like I said, man, these prices are just ridiculous for essentially the same device that we got last year. Now, those are my likes and dislikes. My overall final thoughts of the device. I think it's a good device. I would recommend if anybody does want a new iPhone, get the 11. Get the 11 because to me, the difference in price for the Pro and the Pro Max are not justified. This phone has the same internal specs. You're going to get the same camera, video quality, features, functions. Who gives a damn about a telephoto lens? You know what I mean? You know, it sounds like, when I hear people talking about making a spectacle about the camera, I hear more so them talking about the primary sensor and ultra wide. Primary, ultra wide. I think Pixel, they got the game twisted up because I saw that that unveiling of the Pixel 4 yesterday, and they gave us a primary sensor and a telephoto. It's like their thinking is, well, it to us, it's better for consumers to be able to zoom in on subjects, but not give us a wide angle lens. You know what I'm saying? So that we can capture and captivate a much wider landscape. You know what I'm saying? Of images in which we're trying to capture. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, these are good phones. I think that they're overpriced. If you do get it on a sale or something. I know there was some steep discounts if you want to trade a phone in. If you got an older iPhone that you want to trade in towards the new iPhones, get it that way. I would not pay full price for these phones, man, because to me, they're just not worth it. They're good devices. They're powerful devices. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're bad, and I'm really trying to rock out with this thing. It's been my daily driver. My main SIM card has been in it pretty much since launch day. And I went and got myself the Apple Watch Series 5. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got the AirPods. I got an iPad, because I'll have an iPad, but I won't have an iPhone or anything else. Or I have an iPhone and I won't have any other Apple accessories. I'm like, I just want to rock out with Apple everything just to see if I get completely locked into this ecosystem like a lot of other people seem to be. Or after a certain amount of time, if I could just easily just switch back over to Android and just walk away from it like it was nothing. I mean, each operating system has its advantages over the other. But to me, I've always gotten extremely bored with Apple products way more than I get bored with Android because Android is offering so much because you got so many different OEMs and different manufacturers making Android devices that are offering different things. As opposed to just Apple making, iPhones, and you're just forced to rock with whatever they're giving you. I don't like that type of dictatorship. And you know what? Here's another gripe. What's up with the fact that this phone not having always on display? It's 2019. Why is it that We don't have always on display on the device, but we got always on display on the damn watch. And then they're using always on display as the main selling tool to sell this Apple Watch Series 5. Now, this watch is dope. Like, I don't really feel as though there's any other smartwatch companion. There's not a better smartwatch companion than the Apple Watch with the iPhone. I think the only other smartwatch that may come close to this is Samsung's new Galaxy Watch Active 2. And just how it, how it pairs up, you know what I'm saying? I mean, with phones and just all the stuff that you're able to do with it. But again, I can't understand for the life of me. The phone doesn't have always on display, but the watch has always on display. And you're touting the always on display feature on the watch to be the main selling point to pay a starting price $400 and up for this watch. If y'all don't see the problem with that, man, I don't know what the issue is, man. You know what I'm saying? You just need to sit down somewhere and just focus. You know what I'm saying? Just sit down and focus. Just think. Just think about what I just said. You know what I'm saying? Just need to sit down and focus. No always on display on this top tier expensive ass device. And I know that Apple, ladies and gentlemen, they're trying, like I said, they're like, oh, well, the iPhone 11 is just our mid-range version. This is man, look, ain't nothing mid-range about a $700 price tag. When did $700 become mid-range? This, ladies and gentlemen, is a flagship through and through. Ain't nothing mid-range about this phone. That has everything but always on display. But the watch got always on display. And they're like, oh my God, you got to get it on the watch, man. Just the ability just to be able to just, when you turn your wrist over, that typically, you have to perform that gesture to be able to see the face. Well, now, you know what I mean? You can have always on display. So you can just, you might be in a meeting or something, or you may just be talking to somebody face to face, and it'd be kind of rude just to kind of do that gesture, because to them, it's going to look like you're like pressing them for time or whatever. But you can just ever so discreetly just kind of turn your wrist over, glance at your notifications, glance at the screen real quick to check the time or the date or just whatever. Oh man, they jazz it up and they make it sound so good, ladies and gentlemen. And y'all go out there and buy it. Y'all go out there and cop it. Like, oh man, that new Apple Watch, man. You know what I'm saying, man? That always on display. Yo, I gotta get that, yo. Yeah, I mean, I gotta get that. Let me tell you something, man. Ain't nothing different between the Apple Watch Series 4 and 5, but that always on display. You can go right now and get steep discounts on the Apple Watch Series 4, which is why Apple is they're discontinuing the Series 4, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that? They're discontinuing the Apple Watch Series 4 because there's too many similarities between the Series 4 and the Series 5. And the Series 5, that's their baby right now. That's their new release. So they're like, man, let's get this Series 4 out of here. Which is why right now, if you go to Apple's website and check for the Apple Watch, you're only going to see the Series 3 and the Series 5. That's it. You're not going to see the Series 4. Siri, hush your mouth. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to see the Series 4 at all. And they're offering steep discounts. So now the regular price for the Series 3 is $199 and going up. Now that's not a bad price for the Apple Watch. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, think about that, ladies and gentlemen. I would recommend too, if you want an Apple Watch right now, get a Series 4. You don't need that Series 5. The dimensions and everything the same. If you like that big, somewhat bezel-less looking display on your wrist, it's on the Series 4. Because the Series 4 is when they change the screen dimensions a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so, yeah, man. My final thoughts. It's a dope phone. If you want it, get it. I wouldn't pay full price for it if you can avoid doing so. But ultimately, it's a great phone. It's a great experience. I'm enjoying it. in spite the gripes and the issues that I have with it. I wasn't trying to turn this video into a rant, but hey, those are my likes and my dislikes, man. Like I said, I got problems with Apple. Even though I'm rocking with Apple, I'm really trying to give them a chance, man. But I got problems with the way they do things. You know what I'm saying? I got problems with the way they do things, man. I just don't agree. I don't agree. But it is what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for the full Pristine review for the iPhone 11. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up or give it a thumbs down. You know what I'm saying? Either way, this thing is going to be, we're going to keep this thing moving. If you do give it a thumbs down, get down in the comments and let me know what you didn't like about the video. Was it something that I left out? Or were there some points that that you wanted to hear in the video that I didn't quite get to, or I left something out? Whatever. You know, we can talk about it respectfully. All right. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons of more videos that I've done like this one, and to also expose yourself to the vast array of videos that I've done like this one. I've done so many of them, and I've got so much more content to come. So be sure to hit that notifications bell. Every time my videos go live, you'll get that notification that Pristine Tech just uploaded something. And man, you can be one of the first to check out the content and get down in the comment section, which is where I'll be posted up and chilling at. That's where I'll be answering and responding to questions, comments, feedback, and all that stuff. All right. Much love to all of my subscribers. I thank you guys for spending a little bit of time with me to talk about the iPhone 11 here. And you already know, please stay safe, get spiritually fit, because we're definitely living in the last days. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.